Welcome back to Glitter Budget with your hosts, Anjanette.
And Jess.
And in today's episode, we are concluding our romance movies for the month of February with You've Got Mail from the year 1998, starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It is directed by Nora Ephron, written by Miklos Laszlo, also known as Nicholas Laszlo. And that was the play that this movie is based on.
That's right. It's had like a bajillion different movies and playbills and
Yes. Yeah, it was originally based off of a Hungarian play, whose name I don't remember. And then Nora Ephron and Delia Ephron made the screenplay based off of this. But there's also a musical. There's a another play. There's a movie. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, like I said, Greg Kinnear, Parker Posey, Gene Stapleton, Steve Zahn, Heather Burns, Dave Chappelle, Dabney Coleman, John Randolph, Hallie Hirsch, and others. Trying to think if there's any other big names.
It's your facial expressions and body language through that entire thing. It's priceless.
Shut up. Anyhoozle. Yeah, so You've Got Mail. At this point, it seems kind of like obsolete because no one, I don't think anyone really uses AOL anymore.
Well, I think just the whole premise of it, right? So, like, I feel like anybody who's, young and had the luxury of being born into what we have now, not dial up.
Yeah, if you are Gen Z, you have no idea what's going on.
No. So, but I mean, I feel like the whole premise of having to wait for it to dial up, waiting, just like I said, with bated breath to see if you've got mail.
Yes.
Like, it's just, you don't have that instant connection and those constant notifications. Like, you have to wait until the end of your day to connect to see if somebody has emailed you.
Yes.
And I still remember the sound of dial-up and the You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
Like, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it, awakens something visceral in me when I hear it. Ooh. But yeah, so back when this was a thing, so, late 90s, stuff like this was fairly new. Like, everyone got laptop. I think the cast was emailing each other during this time, and they got laptops and stuff for this specific.
Yeah, it was Meg Ryan's first computer.
Yeah.
First computer.
Late 90s, folks.
And I think they were using AOL's 4.0 version, which was, they were basically beta testing it for them.
Mm-hmm. But that's the AOL that I remember, though.
Same, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the old school shit. And they did feature the AOL Instant Messenger, or AIM, or AIM, whatever I think I always used to call it AIM, and then some people would say AIM.
I think I said AIM.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was the instant messaging. So that's email, but faster. It's instant.
And you had your chat rooms, which were kind of creepy.
Yeah. I mean, there's still stuff like that today, but now they have, the video stuff built in. So, when we were a bit younger, there's this thing called chat roulette. And now they have something similar, but it's Omegle, I think it's called.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Remember being asked ASL?
Oh, my God. American Sign Language.
Age,
No.
sex, location.
Yeah.
So all the pedos can figure out where you're at.
Yep.
Moving on.
So anyway, so I guess in other, there's the movie. This movie was specifically based off of another movie, featuring James Stewart and another actress that I forget her name is. But that movie was called The Store Around the Corner, which Meg Ryan's character's bookstore is called The Store Around the Corner, and that was an homage to that movie.
Yeah.
And most of the other adaptations of the original Hungarian play, it was, two people that worked together that didn't quite, they kind of despised each other, but then ended up falling in love and getting together. But they didn't realize that the entire time that they were pen paling each other. That's like, so that element of like anonymously writing to someone was still featured in all the different adaptations, but it was like back then. So even before email, there was snail mail where pen pals were a thing still, very prevalent, and they were writing each other and realizing that they were falling in love with their pen pal. Didn't realize that the person that they despised in real life was the person that they were falling in love with.
So it's basically the same idea. I think the difference with this one though is that like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks' character, they're currently in a relationship.
Yes.
So it was kind of like a secret hidden thing. So they kind of stumble upon each other in a chat room and then start to private message each other. And nothing like, there was no sexting. It was nothing like gross or anything,
No.
but you could tell there's, they were hiding it from their partners and,
Mm-hmm.
it was done on the down low,
Yeah.
flirting. Things were building.
Yes. So like they didn't share any kind of personal details or anything, so they didn't know any stuff like that. Um, other than I think they did know possibly age, sex, location,
Yeah.
because they both knew about. They both lived in New York, and I think they both knew that they lived in New York.
Yeah. Yep. So they talked
Um,
about like fall in New York, springtime in New
mhm.
York. But I thought it was, I don't know if I found it interesting or kind of like silly, but I guess like before shooting, Nora Ephron had Meg Ryan and I guess like the one girl who was working in the shop with her actually work in a bookstore for like a week, and I thought that was just kind of like not needed.
I feel like no.
Yeah, like
I've especially because like they mentioned that Meg Ryan really only worked in the store for a day.
yeah, when it came down to it, yeah,
Yeah, and it was just like I don't know how much that really helped her performance or anything because
it can't be that you're a bookstore owner.
I mean, you know how transactions work,
Yeah,
and at least especially during this time, most people knew what books were like.
I did think it was pretty cool though the location that they used for her little bookstore was obviously everything was shot on location.
Hmm.
So the original store that was wow.
The store it was a real antique store.
Yes, it was like Maya's Cheese and Antique Shop.
Yes, and they sent the owner on vacation for a few weeks, made it look like a children's bookstore, and then put it all back the way it was by the time filming was done, so that it was still an antique store by the time they were done.
I mean, hopefully, like it's a sweet deal to like go on vacation for 2 weeks, but also hopefully they were like, hey, what's your average
Yeah, I'm hoping that they compensated
revenue
her
for 2 weeks? Like,
because antiques ain't cheap.
no, no, they are not. But I still thought that was pretty cool though, and I think that with the Fox bookstore or whatever, was in an original place for like Barnes and
Barnes and
Nobles or
Noble.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess like when Barnes and Nobles was put in, there was concern that the local bookstores and stuff like that would go under. And right around the corner was Shakespeare and Company.
Yeah.
And I think in '96 they did go under, but
They had other locations. There were
yeah,
other like branch locations for the Shakespeare and Company. It actually is a really cool bookstore. I've
is
been
it-
in one. Yeah.
they came back though.
They did.
They came back once Amazon, Kindle, and all that kind of started to take down the big box stores.
Hmm.
They were like, "Fuck you,
Yeah,
move back in."
what's kind of funny is that like you've noticed a trend with like these big chain stores, and not even just like big chain bookstores, but like just big chain stores in general. You're afraid that they were going to take out the mom and pop stores,
Yeah.
and there are like there's still a lot of demand for small businesses, so they were making a comeback. Pandemic kind of squashed a lot of that, took out a lot of businesses across the country that have been in business for like
And
fucking
families,
years.
generations, yeah.
Yeah. But there are still some people opening small businesses during a pandemic. And, some that are still going, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. So small businesses for the win. Shop small.
I think I don't know, I guess with this movie in particular, I thought it was pretty cool just looking back at where we came from. Just the trends, the trends
Mhm.
of like especially 80s, 90s, the big box stores of like kind of one stop shop were huge and like just popping up everywhere, malls and stuff. And,
Hmm.
internet took over. So a lot of stuff's online. And if it's not online, like you said, you have things like Etsy or just personal little shops that people would prefer coming back around to like wanting that personal attention.
Yes.
So I thought that was like one of the interesting things towards the end of the movie when Meg Ryan eventually, unfortunately, does close her bookstore that was passed down to her by her mom. She's just sitting in like the children's section, and somebody asks, like, "Hey, do you have this in this book? Do you know who it's from?" And the guy's just like,
Yeah. Like, oh.
As you can tell, she's just so annoying. She turns around. She's just like, "Here's the author, and here are the books that you can find, and I prefer this book," and just starts crying. They're like, "Thanks, but now it's awkward."
Yeah. And there are a lot of parallels between this movie and the other adaptations and Pride and Prejudice, which they
Yeah.
mention a lot in the movie because that's Meg Ryan's character's favorite book. And while the two, so it's Kathleen Kelly and Joe Fox, those are the characters, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And Kathleen is saying, like, hey, Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book. I know you'll love it. He's reading it and he's like, oh my God, Jesus, fuck. Like, this is ridiculous. But he reads it for the sake of her. And Joe eventually finds out that this woman that he's kind of been like in competition with and finds her beautiful, but also finds her like a pill, as he says, which was very much a 90s saying. Um, when they're emailing back and forth, they finally agree that they're going to meet. They're going to meet at this cafe. And Joe's friend, Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
I love him, is like, she's kind of got the same coloring as that Kathleen Kelly lady that you don't like. And he's like, so what does it matter? Like, what does Kathleen Kelly have anything to do with it? And he's like, well, because it is Kathleen Kelly. And so then Joe is like, Joe knows that that's the person he's been emailing,
Yeah.
but she doesn't know that Joe is the person that she's been emailing. So he kind of goes along and tries to like win her over, especially after he does put her out of business.
I don't do so. Like, all right, I think I'd be a little pissed off.
Like to find out.
Yeah. Especially to find out that he knew the whole time and like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would think that was cute or not. I don't think I'd be okay with that.
I mean, my thing is like I definitely want honesty, transparency, communication with all this kind of stuff. I don't know if at that first encounter I would have been like, so you're shop girl. But I think it did give him a chance to kind of like change in a way that made him feel like he changed for himself and not like I don't think it was just for her, but he changed for himself to be like to feel better about who he was and what he's done. And I think that's probably the only way that he could have really done that without like blowing it right from the start.
Eh, I don't know. Seemed tricky and shady.
It
A little bit manipulative. I
a
don't like it.
little, yeah, a little. Yeah. It's a sticky wicket. I don't know how you get out of it.
I don't know. And to me, like because obviously, like he heard some hard truths about himself
Mhm.
from her. But like I don't know. After kind of hearing her of like you know, this guy is like super sweet. He would never do this. Blah blah blah. I don't think I'd be able to help myself. I'd be like, really?
Mhm.
Because it's me.
Yeah, I definitely would have been like, bitch, it's literally like you can't see what's in front of your fucking face. Because
I feel
like
like he dropped a couple hints too.
he did. There were
Yeah.
a couple times when like he almost gave up the goat or whatever the phrase like the saying is, but like he like when he went over to visit her when she was sick.
Right. I think she kind of knew.
Yeah. I think that's why in the end she said like I wanted it to be you. I wanted it to be you so badly. Um like especially like with the Godfather shit and all there were a couple different
There's I hope you can enjoy New York in the spring.
springtime. Yeah.
Like I don't know. But apparently, all the Godfather stuff that Tom Hanks was like throwing out and around the movie. Apparently, he has like a huge Godfather aficionado. Like that's just his thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I've never seen The Godfather.
Neither have I.
I knew of the references he was talking about, like the horse head,
Yeah.
but like going like taking it to the mattress or whatever, going to the mattresses. I'm
Dude, I don't
taking it
fucking
to the mat.
know.
Like he's flipping the mattress. I don't know what it is.
Something with a mattress.
There's something with the mattress, and I would not have known that was from The Godfather. So I would have been like her, like, what is with men in The Godfather? I did find it kind of cute, and you could tell that he wasn't acting when he was like doing all the lines from The Godfather,
Yeah,
telling her to
yeah.
um, go to war, and like I thought, like that's just literally Tom Hanks talking about The Godfather.
Yep. It's just like, you need me to do what now? Talk about my favorite trilogy of all time.
Yeah, like he's like, all right.
The Tom and we said cut. We're done the scene. We're done. He won't stop.
The crew's not even here anymore. Tom. Okay, all right.
I think it was cute. The first time that he goes into her bookstore, he was coming back from a day being spent with technically what is his, was it aunt or
His aunt and his brother,
yes,
but they're both like 5 and 6 years old, maybe.
yeah.
So his aunt is technically. I think that's a weird fucking situation.
Oh, the whole thing was very bizarre.
Like his grandfather had the, like his grandfather had a fucking the girl she's a 6-year-old or something like that, and then his dad had. That's weird, man.
They just basically, his dad and granddad married gold diggers because they were stupid fucking young, and they had kids, or already had, I don't fucking know. It's just a weird dynamic.
Yeah, weird situation, and it was yeah. So go on. He was
Yeah.
out with the children.
They were coming back from like a fall festival kind of thing, so he has like balloons and a fish, and they stumble into her bookstore because she was doing like a cute reading.
Mhm.
So the kids go in, read or whatever, and when he's leaving, the the balloons got stuck in the door, and it was not meant to happen.
Mhm.
So he just improv, just opened it up. Good thing it wasn't the fish.
Yeah.
I kept going. And they were just like, genius. Keep it in.
I thought it was funny. I'm watching it, and Steve's like, I can't not hear Woody, and then that's all I pictured.
Really?
For the rest of the movie was like Woody talking about like doing these things and everything. It was funny.
Yeah, surprisingly, like I'm usually the opposite. So like once I watch an animated movie or series or whatever, and I know who is voicing that actor, like that character,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not really trying to make their voice sound any different. It ruins it for me. It ruins the whole experience because that's all I can picture is the actor.
Yeah. I think that was pretty much the case with Tim Allen and Tom Hanks. Like, that's their voices.
Yeah. Yep.
That is them.
Yeah. So that ruins it for me. I mean, I don't. As a kid, like watching Toy Story, I didn't really have like a huge appreciation for who it was. Like I kind of knew who Tom Hanks was, but not enough to be like, oh, I'm picturing in my head.
Yeah.
But now though, it'd be a struggle.
Nah, I can still enjoy it.
No, just same thing with Batty.
Oh.
All I picture, which I could just picture Robin Williams in the booth the entire time. That's all I was picturing.
That's kind of the fun part, though, with Robin Williams, just imagining him going like crazy. But I don't know. I thought it was cute.
So why do you like this movie so much?
I don't.
What the fuck? What? Why the fuck we watch it?
I was trying to think of chick flick romance movies.
There's a long list
What would you have picked?
of rom-coms we could have picked.
From our childhood? What are the other ones?
If you let me think about it for a minute, I could think of other ones.
All right, go on.
I liked it. Still kind of qualifies. I think it was in the early aughts, but 50 First Dates. I always thought was really cute.
I don't think it was that early.
No. All right.
I was more going from like rom-coms that are from the 90s and like it would have been very early on. Because like what 10 Things I Hate About You is still 1999.
Yeah.
So
True.
something from the 90s, but I didn't want to go into like early 2000s really too much. But I was going for like
I don't know if you would really consider
90s,
it a
80s.
comedy. I don't really know actually what they classify it under, but Benny and June.
I do like that one. I don't know. I was kind of like I liked the nostalgia of AOL.
Yeah. No, I did. I mean, I did enjoy it. It was cute. Meg Ryan was slightly more tolerable in this one.
I just don't know why you hate on her so much. I'm not like I'm not like a Meg Ryan stan fan, whatever they want to call them. Like I'm not like this diehard for her. I just don't understand your blind hatred of
I
the
don't
woman.
have a blind
It
hatred.
seems like visually impaired hatred. Like you're
Visually impaired. It's a hazy hatred.
yeah. Like
I
your pupils are dilated hatred.
I just don't. She's like the same character in every movie. I find her very annoying. Like when she gets upset or annoyed, like I'm like you're just an annoying person. I don't know. Her face kind of looks like a foot. Her eyebrows are terrible. I just don't like her.
Okay.
As I'm saying this, I'm like I'm a really shitty person.
These all seem like very shallow things to hate.
I mean, I legit don't think she's a great actress. Like I'm not
See,
impressed by
feel
her
like
acting skills whatsoever.
that I would think is more valid
All right,
than
the rest is very, very petty and shallow. Yes,
yes. I'm
but
just like
I mean, just her as an actress in general. Like I don't. It's literally she's typecasted. I guess she has no range. But like I said, it's literally there's no difference between, for the most part, each movie that she's played in.
quite possibly, quite possibly.
And like I said, I just find her. There's just I don't know. There's just something about her. Like I just find her annoying. I don't know.
I feel like something had to have happened during a Meg Ryan movie when you were young that traumatized you, and now you're projecting all of this trauma onto Meg Ryan.
Possibly.
It just seems misplaced.
I'm not saying that it isn't misplaced. I'm just saying that I don't like her acting abilities.
All right, that's valid. Cuz it's not like I'll agree that it's not anything like great, fantastic, whatever, blah blah blah. I remember reading something about this movie. Like speaking of her acting, I guess she had said in an interview something like that she would never do this kind of movie again. Like it didn't stretch anything. It wasn't any kind of like stretch of the imagination for her or whatever. So she would never do it again. I'm like,
That's all you've done.
that I didn't understand. I was like, so this was in the realm of possibility for you as Meg Ryan, as a person, for you to
Right.
do,
Right.
but nothing out. Like I don't know. It just that didn't make sense. That like she had said that, so I was like, all right, well, whatever. It just seemed like a very random thing for her to say in an interview about this movie.
Yeah. A little. I don't know. Maybe she was tired. Maybe she was at that point tired of being typecasted.
Maybe. Then, whatever. I think since Kate and Leopold, I haven't seen her in anything.
Yeah, kind of like she just disappeared.
Yeah, because Kate and Leopold, I think that was with Hugh Jackman,
I think so. Yeah.
and that was like early in Hugh Jackman's American film career.
Yes.
At least it was definitely after X-Men. And the only reason that I was going to see, I have not seen Kate and Leopold, but the only reason I was going to see it was because of Hugh Jackman. But it
Fair
did not
reason.
look good, so I did not watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so I agree that Benny and June would have been a good one as well. I think
Um.
it's like a romance. Wouldn't necessarily say like romantic comedy.
That's what I mean. I mean, there's definitely like some funny moments in it, but at the same time, though, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a drama either. Like I said, it's like one of those things that like I don't really know what category to put it in.
Yeah,
It doesn't necessarily fit perfectly in either.
yeah. I feel like we could put that in a Johnny Depp
Yeah.
one.
There's something about Mary.
Yeah. I didn't really care for that one though.
Ever After. I know it's technically a story about Cinderella, but it is about Cinderella falling in love with the prince.
Not seen that one.
I know, and I fucking hate you for it.
Why didn't you pick that one?
Because I picked the first two. I don't know. It was just, I love Pretty Woman, and two, I also love 10 Things I Hate About You. I felt like that one came out a little bit older as, hormones start to race, a little bit more coming of age.
Yeah, I would have accepted Ever After though.
I didn't
Then
think about it.
you would have stopped yelling at me for not having seen it.
You're going to watch it.
Is that one
eventually.
that makes you like tear up or something?
It doesn't really make me tear up, but it definitely gives me like the butterflies.
Uh huh. Right.
So, especially the part where they run into the gypsies and like you can walk away with anything that you can carry, and she just throws him over her back, walks away.
I don't get that reference.
I
But
know.
Okay.
Megan. I know. We're simpatico with this.
Yes. Megan knows. I fucking do. I don't know if I know any other romance
I feel
movies.
like it's one of those things like I'll eventually start naming off like a shit ton of rom-coms from the 90s. It's the second we're done this.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know. I follow the formula of like I pick two, you pick two. Those were first two that kind of came to mind.
I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to piss you off with Meg Ryan. Subconsciously.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't know though.
No. French Kiss I really do like though. But that's more because I love Kevin Kline. Like my love for Kevin Kline is everlasting. And I strongly encourage you to watch Life as a House. It's a sad movie. You might not cry because you don't cry.
I cry.
Do you?
Yes.
When do you cry?
If you may or may not cry, who knows? But I cried at the season final, season 4 of The Magicians. Like, almost ugly cried.
Ugly cried.
Almost.
All right. You did cry, but you weren't sure if it was ugly.
You know, like I cried, but I was like, it was.
You were almost like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was getting kind of close.
Yeah. I don't like. Okay, so it has to do with like semi ugly crying. There are times when I love and hate TikTok because I'll find funny videos and I'll be like, "This is amazing. I love this," and then I'm scrolling and then I'll come across someone showing their animal. But they show it from like it growing up and then them getting
Oh.
like old and then they
Yeah.
have to put him down. I literally every time I'm getting a little bit better now where I'll just be like, nope, can't watch it. But there were a good couple weeks in a row where anytime I came across one of those videos, I'd be like, and I would be laughing at the previous video. I'd come across that, and I'm like, like literally choking back the tears, but they're streaming, and then I have to
Oh,
get ready
dear
for work.
Lord. No, I teared up during a last Avengers movie.
Okay, that's
Not
fair.
cry, but I teared up. You know, especially at the end when he was like, "Avengers Assemble." I was like,
Yeah, I got emotional during that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
cried. The first time I watched A Beautiful Mind, I cried.
I got goose pimply.
And again, as I cry, like tears happened, but not like sobs.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some other stuff I've cried at here and there.
Yeah, Life is a House. I cried for years and years and years and years. Every time Binks died in Hocus Pocus, I would cry. With his sad little meow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, as a kid, like I cried basically in almost every children's movie. Land Before Time, Lion King, Babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so next month.
Right. Next month we are doing sci-fi movies. Let's flip it.
Yeah.
My God. So we'll be doing Serenity,
Yes.
Starship Troopers,
Yes.
others,
Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element,
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest, and there's one more because there's 5 Wednesdays.
Oh, that's right.
We don't remember.
We'll get back to you on that 5th one.
Yeah, but there
We have it
are.
written down somewhere.
I give Jess in advance was like, hey, there's 5 Wednesdays in March, so we've got to do 5 movies this time. We're like, right, ha ha. So we did actually pick them, but God
I
help
don't
us if
remember
we can
that 5th
remember.
one, man. It's a good, yeah.
I don't know, but I look forward to.
So which one are we starting with?
I thought you said Starship Troopers.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Starship Troopers is up next. Next week, tune in for that. If you like our vibe, please like and subscribe. We've got all of our social medias linked in the description box down below.